This is video 4.3 in trigonometry. The second video, B as in boy, and we are ready for example number 3, where it says y equals the tangent of 2x. Alright, I think you'll be really surprised at how quick and easy these graphing of tangents are. Now remember to find the period of cosine and sine in cosecant and secant. We did 2 pi over b. Well, because our tangent is 1 pi, we're going to get rid of that 2. So now our period is just pi over b. So if we were to determine the period of this, we would have pi over b or pi over 2. So pi over 2 is our period. So that's when it starts repeating itself, is in, these are going to be pi over 2 away from each other. So something just to hold on to, because you're going to be using that later. Let me erase this, and we'll continue on there. Now, when we have a tangent in the blue box on page 161, it says, under step 1, when y equals a tan b of x, which is this form we've got right now, where the number in front of the tangent is a 1 and the b is the number 2. If that's the case, then bx equals negative pi over 2 and it equals pi over 2. Alright, so what that means here, what is bx? Well, bx is 2x. So 2x equals negative pi over 2 and 2x equals positive pi over 2. Alright, now I'll show you why we're doing that here in just a sec. So let's go ahead and divide both sides by 2 or multiply by 1/2, and we get negative pi over 4. And over here we're going to divide by 2 or multiply by 1/2, and we get pi over 4. So we get this number and this number when we do that. Notice the difference between these two numbers on the number line is pi over 2, always. Yeah, the difference between these two numbers will always be the period, but what you did here is you found the asymptotes. Alright, so this is the method to find the asymptotes of your tangent as well as your cotangent. So first thing you're going to do is find your period. Second thing you're going to do is find your asymptotes, which we did here. And all the asymptotes is whatever is here, you're going to set it equal to pi over 2 and negative pi over 2. And then you're basically done with that, because now what we're going to do is let's move some of this junk out of the way. We don't really need that there. Let's move that up here. Alright, so we get our graph here. And let's see, what did I find out? I found out pi over 4 and negative pi over 4 are my two asymptotes. I'll put those lines in blue right here. Alright, let's see what else I know here. I know that the number halfway between these two is going to be where my tangent crosses the x-axis. Halfway between a negative 4 and a positive 4, if you add these two up, divide by 2, you'll get that point there. So there's one of my points. Let's put it in green here. That's where it crosses the x-axis. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide this into quarters, just like we do the other ones, and the only reason we do that is just so we have a better idea of what this graph looks like, because this graph could look like this. It could look like this. We don't know which of the two or infinite number of graphs it looks like, so we need to find out. So we're going to take and find out what the quarter is between there. So what is halfway between negative pi over 4 and 0. Well, half of pi over 4 would be pi over 8. So we're going to go ahead and graph that. So we've got negative pi over 8 right here. And then we have pi over 8 here. But what are our y values? Well, if x is pi over 8, then I'll make a table here. Remember when we did this? So we have pi over 8 negative, and then we plug pi over 8, negative pi over 8 in here, multiply it by 2, and we get negative pi over 4. Take the tangent then of negative pi over 4, and we get our y value, because y equals whatever we plug this into here and do all the work. What do we get? So y ends up being negative 1. When we plug in, well, we don't have to plug in 0 because we already know it's a 0, 0, but if you did, you'd get 2 times 0 is 0, tangent of 0 is 0. And then if you plug in pi over 8, again, you do the work and you would get 1. So I know that at negative pi over 8, I'm down at negative 1. And at positive pi over 8, I'm at positive 1. So then my graph looks like this. Goes through those 2 white points there. Alright, so that's the only reason why I found my halfway point between here and here, is so I'd have an x value so that I could find out my y value. Halfway between here and here to find my x value so I could find my y value, just so I have 3 points to draw my line through. That's the only reason. So, and you know, you take this middle one, it isn't always going to be 0, 0, but if we took our 0 and put it in there and we got a y is 0, so then we've got 3 points and we can draw our graph. Alright, so if we had something like example number 4, and I'll start another video for that one.